We had the opportunity to participate in Abilene Gives last year. It was phenomenal. Kind of got a last minute approach to getting everything together, but we on the ball this time. We set a goal for $50,000, and the whole focus with that is making sure that we have money for our staff. So I remember speaking at one of the rec centers a couple years back, and I remember somebody asking me, they were saying, "Hey, I love what you're doing with your program. You mind me asking, what's one of the greatest needs that you have for your program?" And immediately I said, funding for staff. And they were like, "Well, don't you go to ACU? Couldn't you get some volunteers?" And as soon as he said volunteers, I kind of cringed a little bit. But I said, "Sir, can I ask you a question?" He's like, Sure. I said, "If you had a $70,000 vehicle, would you accept a volunteer mechanic?" He said, "No." I said, "If you had a $350,000 home, would you accept a volunteer construction worker or contractor?" He was like, "Nah." I said, "I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. But if your life was on the line, your freedom was on the line on a court case, would you accept a volunteer lawyer?" He said, "Oh, heck no." And I said, "Why is it that we understand the importance of putting money into valuable things or things that we say are important to us, and we say the kids are our number one importance, but yet that's the first place that we establish that we need volunteers?" And so what I want to do is change the culture to where young men are receiving services. That doesn't exclude volunteers, but we need people to be able to not have to make the decision. It could be 10 to 15 minutes, the difference between somebody who is contemplating committing suicide and that person is trying to choose between whether to give that kid that 15 minutes in order to get that out for them to talk to them and we can save a life, or the 15 minutes is going to take for them to go across town and clock in at Best Buy because they have bills to pay. And ultimately, if we're not able to fund our staff, we can't really pour into our staff. We want this to not just be a hobby, but it has to be something that's taken as an important craft, an actual career in what we're doing. And so we want to continue to pass that forward, and that's why it's so important for us to raise these funds.